Before we get started, I do want to let everyone know that this webinar will be recorded, so please do be aware of that, and it will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So hopefully you know all about that. That's all of our webinars get, well, most of our webinars get recorded and uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So today you are here for the Navigating Career Day and Building Connections webinar. This is the third webinar in our Career Day 2025 webinar series. So thank you all for coming here. And as I said, my name is Chantal, and this webinar will be recorded. I'd like to start things off with a territorial acknowledgement. We at Kwantlen Polytechnic University respectfully acknowledge that we live, work, and study in a region that overlaps with the unceded traditional and ancestral First Nations territories of the Musqueam, Katzie, Semiahmoo, Tsawwassen, Kikite, and Coquitlam, and with the lands of the Kwantlen First Nation, which gifted its name to KPU. In the cause of reconciliation, we recognize our commitment to address and reduce ongoing systemic colonialism, oppression, and racism that Indigenous peoples continue to experience. So again, I'm Chantal. I'm your career coach with the Career Development Center. Career Day 2025 and the webinar series is brought to you by the Career Development Center and all the great folks over there that are working really hard behind the scenes to bring this to you. Career Development Center is made up of career services, volunteer services, co-op, I'm sure most of you have heard of that one, and employer relations, and we have a lot of really, really great services. So please do visit us online. And also, please do follow our social media accounts. They're just listed there at the bottom. Okay, so this is the third one. So we've already done resumes and cover letters, putting your best professional foot forward. Yesterday was a fantastic panel, discussion panel. I found it to be really informative, and it really does, all the content that came out of that panel yesterday really does support all of the conversations we're having through these webinars. So there's a lot of really great overlap there. So that was yesterday's Navigating Career Day. Career Insights. Today is Navigating Career Day 2025 and Building Connections. And of course, all of that leads us to Career Day happening next week. Richmond is happening on March 11th, so that's Tuesday, and then that's followed by Surrey's Career Day on March 12th. And then right before that, hopefully you've signed up for that, but interview your way to a job offer. So that webinar is happening on Monday, March 10th. Question for you. I'm just curious. I'd like to gauge who the audience is here. So have you ever attended an in-person job fair, either at KPU or elsewhere out in the community? In-person job fair. Go ahead and type your answer in the chat there. I'm just curious how many people, so far we only have about 23 people on the call. But yeah, I'm wondering, have you ever attended an in-person job fair? It gives me an idea of if you know what to expect. Yes or no in the chat. Have you ever attended an in-person job fair? Jaden, do we have any activity there in our chat? Not hearing anything. Jaden, I don't know if you're chatting with me, but I can't hear you. It could also be, you know what it could be? Jaden, for some reason, was getting kicked out of our call on the webinar of resumes. So that might have been what's going on now. Just to let everyone know, Jaden is operating behind the scenes. He's our career services officer, and he will be reading out the questions at the end of today's webinar. So if you actually have any questions, please do put them in the chat as well. But if you can preface them with a capital Q, that would be great. And then that way Jaden can read out those questions at the end. Okay, so let me just have a look here. I'm able to look at the chat. Okay, Yeah, Lizzie says, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Lizzie. No, yes, okay. Okay, so first one for a lot of you. So that's I think you're in the right place then. So this is really great. Thank you for that. So yeah, so some of you have attended an in-person job fair before, and some of you haven't. So I think that you're in the right place, and this is always great anyways, because then it does allow you, even if you have attended a webinar or sorry, an in-person career fair, it's always important to get these reminders. So this is what we're going to talk about today on the agenda. Before the big day, be aware and prepare. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit about volunteerism as well, and things to consider, like your own career and your education and your own personal goals. Um, the importance of developing and practicing a quick intro pitch. So introducing yourself, sometimes it can be really nerve-wracking. And so if we prepare a quick pitch ahead of time, maybe practice it, and then edit it and customize it for each employer, that might help us to kind of kick those nerves a little bit. During the actual career fair, engage and be memorable. And so we'll talk about the important things of things like what to wear, how to communicate, and so forth. And then, of course, what to do afterwards. So your work doesn't end when you leave the event. In fact, that might just be where it gets started. So the importance of taking action after the actual event. All right. So I don't know if Jaden made it back onto the call, but if not, that's okay. So I do have a question for you. Why are you attending Career Day? Because everyone has their different reasons. Now, I just want to also let everyone know this picture that you're seeing, that's actually in our previous location in the Spruce Building. If for those of you that have attended Get Ready, Get Hired or Career Day in the past, this probably looks really familiar to you. But this year's Career Day will be in the Cedar Conference Room, but I'll cover that at the end of today's webinar. So why are you attending Career Day? I want you to type your answer in the chat. Again, really just want to know, I want to gauge where everyone's at. Is it to find an immediate job or perhaps volunteer opportunity or to network? Or to practice talking to employers, or maybe there's a different reason. So perhaps there's a different reason as to why you're attending Career Day. So please do type your answer in the chat. I'm curious, why are you going to be attending Career Day? And hopefully everyone on the chat today is actually going to be attending Career Day. Yeah, so I'll just give that a few seconds as well. Oh, there I see Jaden's back on the call. Jaden, did you get kicked out again?
Yeah, I got not kicked out, but it wasn't letting me talk for some reason.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Well, that's
yeah,
all right.
we do have some
Perfect.
answers here. A pretty good mix. So many of the students are here to find jobs, but also network with professionals is a pretty popular one.
Okay, that's great. I love to hear that. To start kind of building those connections, because Career Day is a little bit more geared towards the professional job search. And so some of you might not necessarily be ready for that right now. You might not be actively applying for career level positions, which makes sense. You might still be in school and so forth. So this really is a great opportunity for everyone to network, connect, research what's out there, which employers are actually actively recruiting, what it is they do. This is a good opportunity to do this. So for those of you that are not looking for an immediate job, then networking, the Career Day is an excellent way for you to network and connect with those potential employers. And for those of you that are looking for an immediate job, great, because a lot of these employers are looking for you, so they're looking to hire you. Anything else come in from the chat before I move on, Jaden?
Yeah, let me see here. Another one is to look for volunteer opportunities and also prepare for co-op work terms.
Okay, yes, excellent. That's really, really great to hear. Absolutely. We have some co-op employers coming to Career Day, so I'm really happy to hear that. Excellent. Thank you, Jaden. All right, so let's get started. So before the big day, be aware and prepare. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've been at our hiring fairs, whether it's Career Day or Get Ready, Get Hired, and I have students walk up going, what's going on, or who's here today, or something along those lines. So really, prepare to understand, to know who's going, who's attending the actual event. So I put the QR code there. This will lead you directly to Career Connection that has a list of all the employers that are attending. This is important research if you really want to be strategic with your time at Career Day. But before that, understand what is it that you need in your next job, or in terms of your networking needs. What is it that you need? What is it that you want in an actual job? Are you looking to build those skills, to use those skills, right? All of those types of things. So take a little bit of a self-analysis, if you will, and really understand what is your purpose in attending Career Day? What is your goal? And this will help you to really ensure that you're strategic when you're attending that day. Identify the companies that are attending and the roles that they're hiring for. So that's what that QR code is for there. If you scan it, it'll take you to Career Connection. You can have a look to see which employers are attending. And then from there, go and visit their website, get an understanding for what it is they might be looking for, whether now or in terms of future hires. From there, you can then prepare targeted resumes. So for those of you that are attending Career Day with the intention of finding a job, now or shortly, I would recommend that you prepare those targeted resumes. So hopefully, let's get a thumbs up actually from those of you that attended the resume and cover letter webinar on, what day are we today? Thursday. Okay, Tuesday. Tuesday was the webinar. So how many people attended the resume and cover letter webinar? Can I get some thumbs up? I'm seeing hands up. Seeing some hands up. All right. If the hand up means you have a question, feel free to pop your question in the chat. But I'm also guessing that maybe it meant that you attended the resume and cover letter webinar, and that's really great. So you understand then the importance of a targeted resume. So take a look at the list, identify who's coming, and then put together targeted resumes for the jobs that they might be hiring for. Okay, so volunteerism. I'm really happy, Jaden, that you mentioned, someone mentioned volunteerism, looking for volunteer opportunities. And I actually inserted this, the next few slides in here on purpose to address maybe some concern that some concerns that some student might have had in the past. So we did receive feedback both from employers and students that they were surprised to see some companies that were there that were actually not actively hiring for paid opportunities, but rather were looking for volunteers. We cannot hold a hiring fair career day event without having organizations come that are also seeking volunteers. So I thought, you know what, let's talk a little bit about the importance of volunteerism. Volunteering in your career goals. So if you and I have ever had a one-on-one career coaching appointment, chances are I've discussed the importance of volunteerism. So volunteering and your career goals. Volunteering, it helps you gain that hands-on experience that really does enhance your resume. Yesterday, we heard a lot in that panel about the importance of transferable skills. KPU is going to help you develop those technical, hard skills, but those transferable skills, you can develop them, yes, while you're a student, but you can also complement those technical skills through volunteering in order to enhance those transferable skills like communication, teamwork, leadership, all really, really important skills that are identified by employers. It also might help you to explore career interests. So part of my communication with students when we're discussing career exploration is the importance of experiences and trying different things out, increasing self-awareness, identifying things that you really enjoy doing, and identifying things that you really don't enjoy doing, right? So sometimes volunteerism can really help you discover some of those career interests. Of course, it helps you build that professional network, which is crucial for students as they're starting out in the world of work, and perhaps even connect you with some mentorship opportunities. And you do stand out. And I'm going to share a stat in a few slides, but you do stand out to employers by showing initiative and commitment. If you show them on your resume that you volunteered while you were studying and perhaps even while you held a part-time position, then that really does, go pretty far. Volunteering and your education goals. So of course, it will allow you, volunteering can allow you to gain that real world experience that complements your studies, so really enhances your education. Depending on what your goals are beyond KPU, it can, of course, help strengthen your application for graduate or professional schools. Certainly there's some professional schools that require volunteerism, so that's just not even an option. And just like when it comes to your own career goals, it of course helps to improve that communication, problem solving, and leadership skills. And it might increase your eligibility for scholarships that value that kind of community involvement. And then finally, volunteering in your personal growth. Volunteering can really help to boost confidence and self-esteem, enhance that self-awareness, and also develop cultural awareness by perhaps working with diverse communities. It will help you find a sense of purpose and fulfillment through meaningful work. And more, we're starting to see that. The reasons why, or rather what the motivations are in terms of the type of work students are going to be looking for. More and more, we're seeing a higher percentage that respond with values. I'm looking to make a difference in the world. I'm looking for purpose. And then, finally, improve that mental health by reducing stress and increasing social connections. Now, if all of that, all of those really great reasons are not enough, then maybe this is. A Deloitte study showed that 82% of hiring managers indicate that they prefer candidates with volunteer experience on their resume. And then the second stat's important. 85% are willing to overlook resume shortcomings if applicants have volunteer experience on there. So if you're at career day and you walk up to a table and you discover that they're looking more for volunteers than anything, they could be hiring, of course, but perhaps if you hear them say that they really are in need of volunteers, have a conversation, because it can be a very, very important one. All right, so practice. How you're going to communicate with the employers you're looking to target. Now, I shared the QR code earlier on that will bring you to the list of employers that are attending Career Day. But don't just limit yourself to those employers. Now, identify the ones you really, really want to have a chat with, you want to, introduce yourself with, and so forth. But at the same time, be open-minded. If you've gone to Career Day and you've had a conversation with 5 of the employers that you were looking to target, or organizations that are looking for volunteers, go and chat with other ones. You never know, right? So have an open mind, and go and have a conversation. You never know where it can lead. All right, so the pitch. So when we're talking about networking and introducing ourselves to someone new, to expand our network, we typically use the term pitch, right? Like develop your elevator pitch, your 30-second speech, whatever it might be. Now we're at a career fair, so it could be particularly busy. There's lots of students, lots of movement, and it's pretty loud. So I typically suggest that for the pitch, the introduction pitch, for a hiring fair, I'd cut that time in half to about 15 seconds, if not a little bit less. And you can very easily achieve that by while still including some important information. So developing and practicing your pitch. Your pitch should really include, of course, a greeting and your name, the position that you're applying for or interested in, a brief summary of your relevant experience or skills, and so that might also include the program that you're in or have completed, and a question. So you always want to wrap it up with a question to encourage that kind of back and forth communication. And here's how it might look. You can see it's really quick. Hi, I'm Chantel. It's great to meet you. I understand that Beam Credit Union is looking to hire a new money advisor. I'm about to complete an accounting diploma and I have a lot of customer service and sales experience. This sounds like a great fit. What's the best way to get more information and to apply? Now, when I put together this pitch, I went and I looked at the employers that are coming to the event. And then from there, I chose one of them that I thought would be relevant to someone who's in the accounting program. And then I had a look at their website to see what kind of jobs they're hiring for. So I found out that Beam is hiring for money advisors, and so that's where I got the pitch from. That's exactly how I would suggest you do it as well. So identify who's coming, who might be relevant, and then develop a little bit of a pitch that you can kind of tweak for each possible employer. Now, when I go to Career Day myself and I'm walking around and I'm looking at all the students having really great conversations, really, it's just a really great, strong energy. Sometimes, though, I do hear a couple of questions that make me cringe a little bit. I'm not going to lie. What does your company do? What kind of jobs do you have? Or do you have anything for accounting or HR or sociology students? So what you're telling the employer is that you're not, you didn't come prepared and that you're not particularly interested in them. Those are two pretty important things that your messages that you're sending out. So as much as possible, avoid that. You're going to want to have your companies that you want to target and have targeted customized conversations with. But at the same time, it is important to be aware of who these other companies are. So before you approach a company that you've never heard of, maybe give it a quick Google search, right? Identify who they are, what they do, what they specialize in, and what they might be hiring for. And this will give you a much more professional look if you approach the table knowing that information. Remember, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Preface it with a capital Q, and we will get to those questions at the end of today's webinar. And yeah, next up, I'm going to ask another question here. So I'm going to give you a scenario. You just had a great chat with an employer. After you leave Career Day, what is your next move? So I'm going to ask you these questions here. You can go ahead and type what you think in the chat. And I'll give it a few seconds. And then Jaden, once you start seeing some of those answers pop, this one I think is a little more on the challenging side. So I'm curious to know what everyone will have to say. But what do? You had a great chat with an employer. You leave Career Day. What's your next move? Add them on LinkedIn. Wait for them to contact you. Send a quick thank you email or apply for a job with them. Type your answer there in the chat. Oh, you might hear my assistant, Frankie. He has a very strong opinion about this.
Looks like the most popular answer so far is to add them on LinkedIn. Preceding that would be to send a quick thank you email.
All right, so add them on LinkedIn is the most popular answer, I guess. Yeah, and you know what? I don't disagree with you on this, but I might disagree initially. So the first thing that I would suggest you do is send them a quick thank you email. Thank them for their time. It's a bit of a tough job market out there. Little bit. It's not impossible, but it's a bit of a tough job market. And so as a job seeker, we really want to take extra measures, extra steps to stand out from other applicants. And so the first thing we might want to do is send them a quick thank you email. If you have their contact information, and many of these employers have their business cards ready to hand out. So if it's an option, I'd go with C. Everything else after that, I would absolutely agree with. B, not so much, but maybe once you've done everything, right, then maybe wait for them to contact you. So I would absolutely say send them a quick thank you email, or a quick thank you note somehow. Then absolutely add them on LinkedIn. If you're going to add them on LinkedIn, please do add them on LinkedIn with an added note. So don't just hit connect and then let LinkedIn send its generic LinkedIn request. I'd like to add you on LinkedIn or connect with you on LinkedIn. Add a note. Now, the way to add that note is to go onto that person's actual profile, click connect. You will then be prompted with a message from LinkedIn that said it's more effective to add a note, and then it will give you the option to do that. That quick note can simply say, I had a really great time meeting you at Career Day the other day. I particularly like this and this. I'd love to connect with you here. So add a customized LinkedIn note when you request to connect with them on LinkedIn. And then absolutely, if there's a job that you want to apply for, yeah, do that. And then B is maybe, after you've done everything you can. So send a quick thank you as a follow-up. Now, during the actual event, engage and be memorable. So engage and be memorable. Dress nicely, but dress in how you are comfortable and how you feel good. Because when we feel good, we project confidence naturally. So make sure you're wearing something that you feel good in, but make sure that whatever it is, that it's clean, it's ironed, it looks neat, and tidy. Clean shoes. I would avoid running shoes for Career Day. For Get Ready, Get Hired, it's a little bit more of a casual hiring fair, but Career Day is a little bit more professional level. So make sure that whatever shoes you wear are clean, and preferably not necessarily running shoes. Communicate, speak clearly and not too quickly. Make sure that you remove those AirPods before you go in. It sends a message. Even if they're not on, it sends a message if they're in your ear. So remove those and take notes. I would definitely recommend you have a pad and a pen. If someone gives you their business card, write something on the back of that card that really stood out for you if you were having a particular conversation about something, because that can be used when you follow up with them, either when you connect with them on LinkedIn or when you send them that thank you email. It's always good to kind of customize that note and remind them of who you are, because of course they're going to be talking to a lot of people at Career Day. Maintain eye contact when you're communicating with them, and lean in and pay attention, of course, to their body language. Again, there's going to be a lot happening around us. And so, make sure, are they squinting? Are they, kind of ducking their head in? Chances are it means they're not hearing you because it's so loud or whatever. So speak slowly and clearly and maintain that eye contact. And don't forget to smile. Sometimes when we're nervous, we don't necessarily come across as particularly friendly. So please make sure to smile in those interactions as well. All right. So don't leave yet. Once you've communicated with all the different employers that are at Career Day and you've done the rounds, don't leave. I would recommend that you revisit. So you've perhaps taken some notes. Chances are you don't need to refer back to your notes quite yet because it just happened, but revisit those employers that stood out to you or that you intend to apply for. Thank them for piquing your interest, and and for attending the fair. Let them know what it is you enjoyed about the interaction. Maybe it was something particularly fascinating. They got a new project coming on. They're, developing a new software, whatever it might be. Be specific with what it was about your interaction that made a difference for you. And then let them know if you plan on applying for opportunities or keeping an eye out, make sure to let them know that it was because of this interaction that you're particularly interested in them as a prospective employer. They oftentimes, the employers that come or the representatives that come from that particular company, they're typically human resources, not always, but typically they're from human resources or a recruiter of some form. So they're very much the face of this company or organization. So if you're letting them know that they are doing a great job representing their company and coming out to these events, that'll make a real impact. Everyone likes to know that they're doing their job well. So be sure to let them know that. And then take action. So within 24 hours of the event, consider reaching out to them. If you plan on applying for a job, you will need to apply for that job through the method that they like. So of course, it's very likely they have a careers page, and you need to upload your resume directly to that particular job, and so forth. You can't just necessarily send them a resume and a cover letter. They will expect you to apply through the proper channels, unless in that communication you had, they invited you to send it directly to them. Then, oh yeah, you're going to want to take them up on that offer and send them that resume and cover letter. But take action within 24 hours of the event. If you're planning on applying, remind them who you are and where you met. Inform them that you plan on applying and tell them why. So again, if it was because of that interaction, then make sure to let them know and let them know which role you're applying for and why. And then going back to Tuesday's webinar on resumes and cover letters, unless they specifically say that they do not want a cover letter, I would always, always recommend that you write a customized, targeted cover letter when you're applying for any opportunity. If they say it's optional, remember the stat. I think the stat was in 76% of employers say that a cover letter can absolutely make an application stronger. So consider that. All right, so key takeaways when you're attending Career Day. So know what it is you want in a job, right? So do a self-analysis and identify what is your purpose in attending Career Day? What can you do while you're at Career Day in order to enhance that experience for yourself? Research who will be there and what they're hiring for or what they're looking for in terms of volunteers. Explore the idea, be open to the idea and the benefits of volunteering. Prepare a simple intro pitch. And I can go back to that intro pitch if anyone needs to. Stand out, show them that you've done your research. And again, if you're at the fair and you've visited all the employers that you're interested in chatting with and you want to continue chatting, look them up before you approach their table. I'm really not wanting to hear those questions. What do you do? Do you have any jobs for HR students or anything along those lines, right? Revisit them before you leave. And if you plan on applying, let them know that you plan on applying, but revisit them and thank them for their time and so forth. And then don't wait too long to apply. If there is an opportunity that's open that you plan that you'd like to apply for it while that interaction with you is still fresh in their minds as well. So for those of you that attended Get Ready, Get Hired in October, on the Surrey campus, we had the career fair divided over 2 locations. We had a few employers in the Maple Atrium and most of the employers over in the Cedar Conference Center. So this time around, we have everyone in the Cedar Conference Center. So you know, you might see the career day posters. We made some shifts, so the career day posters still read that it's in the Maple Atrium and it's in the Cedar, but no, it is not. It is entirely in the Cedar Conference Center. So on Tuesday, March 11th, career day is happening from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. on the Richmond campus. And on Wednesday, March 12th, it's happening on the Surrey campus from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. in the Cedar Conference Center. Now, we really do look for feedback for these events. We look to the students and we look for to the employers. So there will be a survey for you to complete, and we ask that you just take a few seconds out of your time once you're leaving the event to complete those surveys. So upon exiting the event, you will be greeted by one of our fabulous volunteers with a QR code. The QR code will lead you to a survey where you can provide us feedback. I think there might be 6 questions on the survey, so super, super fast. And we really do analyze the feedback and we apply those changes wherever we can. So please do help us improve by completing that brief survey. Now, as I mentioned before, with resumes and cover letters, we have a great toolkit. Well, we also have a great toolkit for networking. So if you scan the QR code here, it's going to take you to the networking toolkit where you'll find a bunch of really great information on the importance of networking and some really great tips on how to do that. Yay! So we do have some prizes. So for all of you that stuck around for the duration of this webinar, your name will be placed into a draw and you could win a $20 gift card for the KPU bookstore. So each webinar will have a draw, and we also will do a draw for Career Day. So once you go to Career Day, you're going to be given a stamp card. On that stamp card, your job is to go around and chat with, of course, the employers. I mean, that's why you're here. That's why you're going to the event. For each employer that you chat with, they will stamp your stamp card, and for every 5 stamps, you get 1 entry into the draw, up to a maximum of 6 entries into the draw. Your name could potentially get pulled to win either a $50 KPU bookstore gift card or a $100 Guildford Town Center gift card. So not too bad. So please do make sure that you take part in that. And in order to be considered for the stamp card contest, you need to, yes, of course, attend Career Day and get those stamps. But also you do need to make sure that you've registered to attend Career Day on Career Connection. So it's kind of a 2-step process there. So make sure you've done that, but we will have some great volunteers on site to remind you and to make sure that you've registered, taken all the necessary steps. All right, so now we'll open it up to questions. I've finished a little bit early, but that's okay. If you have any questions, please do drop those in the chat. And if you prefer not to type them in the chat, feel free to put your hand up and you can ask the question by taking yourself off mute and turning your camera off on rather, if you'd like. If not, feel free to keep your camera off. Again, this webinar is recorded. So all of our webinars will be recorded and uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So you can check us out there. And if you want to make an appointment with a career coach, you do that through Advisor Connect. And there's all the other contact information there. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this for a minute in case anyone would like to scan that. And I will open it up for questions.
So yeah, we have a couple questions here. The first one would be, how do we know what position the companies are hiring for?
Yeah, that's a good question. The first thing I would recommend is go directly to the company website and have a look to see what positions they might have posted that are open. Now, of course, that is not going to indicate what positions they might have open in the future, but it will still give you an understanding for what they hire for. So Number one, take a look at their careers page. Number two, if they don't have anything posted on their careers page, then at least understand what the company is and what they do. And this will give you an idea for the types of positions they might be hiring for in the future. And it will then give you something to kind of discuss and talk about when you approach them. But that can certainly be something you talk about when you approach them at Career Day. Say, hey, I visited your website. Sounds like a great company. I noticed on the careers page there wasn't anything listed there. Can you give me an idea of some of the positions you might be hiring for? Feel free to ask that question, especially if they don't actually have any jobs posted on their website.
Yeah, and the next question we have is, should I customize my resume and cover letter for each employer?
Yes. I know it seems like a lot of work, but chances are of the 35 plus employers that are attending, let's say Surrey, you're not going to want to apply with every single employer, right? So really identify the ones that you're particularly interested in. Do I recommend that you draft a cover letter? That's completely up to you. Like, listen, if you're doing your homework and you realize of the, 36 employers, 37 employers that we have coming to Surrey, if you see 3 that are standout employers, you see that they're hiring a particular position that you're interested in, would I myself take the time to develop a strong customized resume and cover letter? Yes. So yeah. But if you want to apply to 10 plus, then chances are you're going to be able to get away with 3 varieties of your resume. One that really focuses on your technical, whatever it is, your training at training in at KPU. One that might be a little bit more geared towards focusing more on your actual work experience and whatever. So, you're not necessarily going to have a completely different resume each time. You might do some tweaking for each one. But like I said, if you look at the number of employers and you see 3 or 4 really standout employers, they have clear job postings that they're looking to fill. I would definitely take the time to put together a customized resume and cover letter. And I would even take the time to print those out. Some employers might be accepting actual hard copies at the actual event. So, it'll give them the opportunity to accept your resume and cover letter, maybe make some notes that could be really beneficial. So, yeah.
Yeah, so for the next question, let's assume everything went good with the employer and we were able to get in contact with them on LinkedIn. How do we keep the post-meeting conversation alive, as often it tends to fade over time, and we want to keep a professional and long-term relationship with these contacts?
Yeah, I mean, that can be particularly challenging. So one thing I would recommend you do is expand from the time of career day. So you made the connection through career day, you then connected with them on LinkedIn. Consider asking them for an information meeting at some point. So in the networking toolkit, there is a section on information interviews or information meetings. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it is typically a 15 to 20-minute meeting that someone might have in order to gain information about a particular job or a particular company. For example, when I first started in the career development field, I knew that I wanted to be a career advisor. I just didn't know where I wanted to be a career advisor. So what I did was I reached out to different organizations that I knew provided those kinds of services. And I had an information meeting with people that were doing those jobs. And this allowed me some, I guess, really important intel to identify if those were companies I would actually like to target when I was ready to start applying for a job. So, same idea. You've met them through Career Day, you've connected with them on LinkedIn. Feel free to ask them or somebody from within their company for an information meeting. For example, if you are connecting with them on LinkedIn and you met them at career day, chances are they're human resources or a recruiter for that company. But you yourself have just finished a marketing degree. So you don't necessarily want to have an information meeting with someone who's in human resources, but you are interested in that company. So what you might want to do is reach out to that person and ask, is there someone within the marketing department of your company that would be willing to have an information meeting with me? Right? So you can kind of keep that communication going by putting out those types of requests. Once they've maybe had an information interview with you, or perhaps they recommended someone who had an information interview with you, you can then update them. If it was you and them that met and they suggested that you do A, B, and C in order to, gain more information, you can go back to them and say, hey, when you suggested that I do this or that I contact that person, I did, and here's how it went. So that's a really good way to kind of keep that relationship going as well.
Okay, so for the next question, is it recommended to have a targeted resume ready for career day, or is that something we should do after meeting with the employers?
Yeah, I mean, I get that question. I would recommend having it ready ahead of time. Now, we had that question earlier, how do I know what kind of positions that these companies are hiring for? So if if they've posted on their careers page ahead of time the positions that they're looking to fill, then it's easier for you to develop that targeted resume. And for those companies that you're really interested in, I would recommend you having an actual hard copy with you. They might take it, they might not, but if they do want it and you have it, good, right? You're ahead of the game. Now, for those companies that don't list any jobs before the career fair itself, it's still pretty easy to determine the types of position a company might tend to hire for. So if there's a company that you're particularly interested in, but they don't have any job openings on their careers page. But you know that they obviously hire marketing specialists or human resources or whatever it might be, then put together an application based on what you think that company would hire for. And then offer to give it to them at the fair. If they don't want it and they say no, you just have to go online, then you have one ready at least and you can submit it online. But in case they do want it, an actual hard copy, again, to write notes on or something, then you'll be ready and ahead of the game.
So yeah, the next question would be, is there any possibility that a company could interview us on the spot at career day?
Um, Now, in some cases, at some hiring fairs, they might have some small meeting rooms set aside for that very purpose. For this career day this year, we don't have that. So it's not likely that an employer is going to say, hey, do you have a few minutes to chat privately over? And, it's not likely that that's going to happen at this event. But there are some events that do have, and we have done that in the past, that do have some small private areas for if there is the opportunity to have a chat on the spot. Um, it's not it's a great idea, but when you really think about it, it's pretty important to prepare for an interview. And as a student or maybe as a new grad, preparation is key. So I don't necessarily even recommend interviewing in the moment on the spot, unless this was something that was, a key part of the event. So I would say it's highly unlikely that that's going to happen. I'm not never say never, but it's highly unlikely that an employer is going to want to hold a mini interview with you right there on the spot. They might ask you specific questions that you might also be asked in an interview, like, what are you studying? Why did you choose that program? Something along those lines. But chances are those are going to be pretty easy for you to answer. So I wouldn't anticipate that'll happen.
Yeah, and we have one final question here. Can I attend both career days on the 11th and the 12th?
Please do. You were invited to both. Absolutely. Come to both career days. So if you go on Career Connection and you look at the employers, and in fact, let's go back here, all the way to the beginning here. Just going to leave this. Where did I? Oh, I passed it, didn't I? There. So if you scan that QR code there, you will see the employers that are coming to Richmond and the employers that are coming to Surrey. Now, some are coming to both, but some are only going to Surrey and some are only going to Richmond. So if you happen to be available both days, by all means, feel free to come to both days. You're invited to both.
Yeah, and we have one more question here. Actually, no, that's all the questions we have so far.
All right. Well, maybe I'll give it another few seconds to see if anyone else has any more questions, but okay, I see that someone just asked about if there's going to be more companies. For the most part, I think everyone's pretty much locked in. Yeah, there's always a possibility, for sure. But yeah, I think for the most part, most employers are locked in, but you never know. There could be a surprise. You could show up to one of them and see that there is a company there that's not on your list or wasn't on that original list. Then Google them in the spot if you want to chat with them and see if this is an employer you'd like to chat with. So I think that's it. Please do join us on Monday, March the 10th for the interview webinar. This one's a popular one. People love the interview webinar. So we do have quite a few folks registered for that one. So feel free to, if you haven't, please register. Please come and join us for that one as well. And hopefully I'll see you all at Career Day. If you're there, please come by and say hi if you see me wandering around. So that's it for now. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving us your lunch hour. On behalf of the Career Development Center, we all thank you so very much, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.